Hey everyone, welcome to today's Program Yourself Thin podcast. Today we're talking about when it comes to losing weight. This is one of the biggest distinctions you can make. One of the best things you can possibly do is to start focusing on your consistency over the intensity of what you're doing. And the way this shows up in your life is profound because what you've been doing is you've been fixating and focusing on intensity and not even caring about consistency, really. Every diet you start, every workout program you do, you jump right into it 100%. And to go from how you normally eat to, not eating any carbs, eating 1,000 calories, not eating any sugar, these drastic, dramatic, intense changes you try to make because you're so impatient cause you to be unable to be consistent. There is a direct connection. The more intense of the thing you take on and the more intensely you jump into it, the less likely you are to be able to be consistent with it. And your whole life, because of the diet industry and the weight loss industry, how it works, is you have been fixated for your whole life on intensity and fast, rapid results. And that has caused you to be unable to stick with any plan long term. Even when you lose the weight, you can't stick with it because it's just too much for you. There's nothing wrong with admitting that and accepting it. I did. I hated working out, and quitting working out was one of the best decisions I ever made for my weight. So when you focus on consistency, the way you would do that is you have to reduce the intensity of what you're starting with. And in order to be able to reduce the intensity and stick with it, you're going to have more patience. And so to that point, I say to you, the reality is you don't want to lose weight. You want to live at your goal weight for the rest of your life on near autopilot. So if you really look at the goal you actually have, it's not about losing weight as quick as you can. You've done that. You've lost weight quickly and then put it back on. That's not what you want to do again. You want to get to your goal weight and stay there forever. It doesn't have to be about the fastest way possible to get there because that's not really your goal. Whether it takes you 3 months, 6 months, 2 years to get to your goal, the ultimate real big goal is that you want to stay there forever. So if you could live the next 50 years of your life at your goal weight, whether it took you 3 months, 6 months, or 2 years to get there, doesn't matter. It's about living there. And if you jump into something really overwhelming and extreme that'll get you fast results, that simultaneously means it's probably not going to last long because it's too difficult. So it's a complete mind shift that allows you to do this. But when you make it, you set yourself up not only for much better long-term results of living at your goal weight, but more importantly, the whole process is way easier. You know how easy it is to be consistent with simple little things and to just build on top of them systematically, strategically over time? You know how easy that is compared to trying to completely transform your eating, your entire life, your entire working out in one day? Because that's what you're trying to do. In one day, you are completely changing how you live, how you eat, how you think, how you work out. And you wonder why you can't stick to it. And the worst part of the whole thing is that you blame yourself. You say, "Oh, it's my fault. I have no self-control. I got no willpower." To put it into a different context that shows you how ridiculous it is, the way you're approaching your weight loss would be like if you wanted to learn to play the piano and you said, "You know what? I really want to learn this. I want to learn it quick. I'm going to go as intense as I can. I'm going to practice 10 hours a day." Sounds great on paper, but in reality, even if you got through the first day, the next day you wake up and your fingers are cramped and you hate the piano. So it reduces your chances of success as you move forward. And so you're doing the same thing with your weight loss is you're jumping into plans that are too extreme, too overwhelming, and you can't stick with. And it is causing you to quit. It's not your willpower. It's not your self-control. It's the way that you're approaching it. It's the strategies you're using. And so if you start to value yourself up to have much, much better results in the short term and the more importantly, the long term. So I hope this helps you out. If you want support in this way of thinking, click the link in my bio, go get the free hypnosis session. Go watch the video I made for you. I got a new training coming out, how to choose your goal weight. That'll be free for you as well. Go check that out. All that stuff's free. Let me help you out. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I hope you're having a nice, the hell day is it? Wednesday? Is it Wednesday? Sometimes these days I'll pass by the same. What's up, Katie? How's it going? Nice to see you on the live. What's up, Vicky? How's it going? Yes, happy Wednesday. Wednesday. All right. I'm a little lost in the sauce. I don't know what's going on. This week's a little funny. I think I got a cookie fever. I've been eating so many cookies, I'm not even thinking straight. And I feel like shit. I'm so glad that the cookies are done. And then more cookies came in. They're different cookies, at least. Thank God. But holy macaroni. Oh, but again, so I was talking yesterday in a coaching call. I'm gonna utilize it. I will utilize this cookie eating for my benefit because I ate a lot of cookies, but I connected to how shitty I feel eating them. And now I'm on the upswing. I don't want to eat cookies. However, just because I don't want to eat cookies and I'm moving away from them doesn't mean the cravings just go away. So again, I give myself a little bit of, runway to move out of my cravings. But anyways, yes, I hope you're all doing well. So if you have any questions about weight loss, feel free to ask them and ask them quick because I'm not going to be here long today, I don't think. I got a lot of shit I got to do. I got a lot of stuff to do today. And I'm starting a new habit of going for walks every day. I started on April 1st and yesterday was April 1st. So I got to get myself out there today. I didn't start on Monday because that wasn't the first of the month. What a dilemma. I know a lot of you probably felt that this week. You're ready to start your weight loss plan, but oh shit, the first isn't until Tuesday. Can't start a weight loss plan on Tuesday. Don't want to start the last day of the month. Humans are funny like that. I'm not no different. So I didn't start on Monday, but I did go yesterday. I was happy about that. And did a quick walk with my dog. And what I remember, because I haven't walked in a while with my dog, is that I put the wrong leash on her and she's just pulling my shoulder out of my socket at a tree. So I forgot. I put a special one on her. So it pulls her head a little bit. So it gives me a lot more control because this dog is too strong. So anyways, I will remember to take that one today and it will be a better walk. But thank God. Yeah, and it's a little chilly out, but I don't give a shit. I'm doing it. My client Dawn here, she motivates me. Dawn walks every day. Doesn't matter if it's shitty out, cold out, whatever. She's a trooper. Me, on the other hand, I don't know what happened this year. I think it's my broken bones. I keep breaking bones. Well, I only broke my foot bone 2 years ago, but then I got my shoulder worked on. So that wasn't a broken bone, but whatever. So I've had really 2 years of acute bullshit, but really it's been 5 years. My shoulder was hurting for 5 years, but that didn't really matter. Breaking my foot, though, definitely made me nervous this year about snowboarding, skiing, and walking if there was any moisture on the ground. Anyways, who cares? But that's where I'm at. So yeah, if you have any questions about weight loss, feel free to ask them. And if not, oh, okay, that Dawn walks every day too. It must be a Dawn thing. You're in California though, Dawn. Well, you always got nice weather. I can't imagine. Would I walk every day if it was nice weather? It's a little bit of an excuse, but not really, because I've been working on my walking for a number of years now. Definitely got thrown off track with the broken foot. But before the broken foot, I'd got myself probably about 2 years where I was walking really consistently. And, when it gets winter, I always ease off and chill out a little bit. But then as soon as the weather got nice again, I'd be right back on track with things. This year, though, I noticed was the worst year. But I think it's because, this is the first year I haven't snowboarded or skied in 15 years. Yeah, like 15, 20 years. Wow. And so I think what happened is I got scared of the cold. I didn't go outside. I wasn't moving along because my shoulder was still recovering. I was like, all of a sudden now it's cold out and I'm like feeling it. I'm like, I'm avoiding it. When you get out, exposure is just funny, right? So it's like when I was skiing, I go, and you're really cold because you're going on the top of a mountain. So it's freezing up there and you're sitting on lifts and you just get used to being cold. You're used to being outside. And I think and you're used to walking in the shitty conditions helps me walk more too. And I walked less this year than I have in a while. But anyways, I'll get back to it. That's part of it. I say this all the time that, you know, weight mastery, losing weight initially, it's really less about starting on day one and just being perfect. Of course, our brain loves that concept because it's simple to understand. But the reality is that real life intrudes. And so, yeah, to think in a streak is easy to do, but it's not realistic. So the reality is you have to learn how to kind of manage things in real time, how to let certain ideas go and just keep re-engaging. And so here I will re-engage in my walking and build that back up. And I will go into next winter with better strategies. But yeah, good job, Dawn. It must be something about Dawn's. Dawn's love to walk, I guess. Okay. And Vicky's like to walk too. I walk every day and hike on weekends whenever possible. That's awesome. Yeah, that's what I'm working on. Although I will say, let me make this live all about me, but I guess that's where we're at for a second. Um, I have increased my resistance training. So I'm on 2-3 months of that, up to 40 push-ups a day, 40 squats a day. Feeling good. And the way I'm doing it doesn't feel overwhelming. What I've learned about resistance training is that I have over my life consistently gone into it too hard. I will do it too much too early and I will hurt myself and then I will stop doing it. So this time or I'll do it and then I'll get to a point where it's a big pain in the ass and I don't like doing it. It's too hard. It takes too long. It's too stressful. I get too tired afterwards. I'm sore. So whatever. So this time here I started slow, and I mean slow. Literally I started with 5 push-ups. Now, this is my second go around with it, but now my shoulder's fixed, so nothing's going to stop me. I'm not anticipating that. So anyways, I've got it figured out. So it's relatively easy for me, and I'll just keep building on that. So I have done that one. That one's been pretty good. And I wonder to myself, I say, is that contributing to my cookie eating? The licensing effect's a son of a bitch. I'll tell you, the licensing effect is one of the most fascinating cognitive biases that I know of. I am exposed to it. And I've been eating more cookies the last 3-4 weeks. Did that play a part? Maybe. Anyways. Yeah. Oh, yep. Biggie walks with Benji, your dog, right? What are the benefits of walking? I mean, the big benefits of walking, you get outside. Listen, any movement's good. Everything's on a spectrum. So we'll get out of the all or nothing sort of thinking. But yeah, I mean, there's a million benefits to walking. Burning calories isn't really at the top of the list. I will let you know. But it just makes you feel better. You get more oxygen in your body. If you're walking outside, you get sun on your skin, you get some wind on your skin, fresh air, you're moving more, heart's beating more, moving muscles, seeing people, seeing trees, seeing your neighbors. If you're just walking on a treadmill, you're getting all those things minus the outside stuff. So it's good. And I think that maybe most importantly, piece of walking is I think the mindset shifts. That's why I personally think walking is one of the best things to do to lose weight, not because it burns calories, but because it's a real powerful way to transform your mindset. You start to identify as a different version of yourself. You start to think of yourself as a more active, healthier person. And it's a funny thing with the licensing effect. I'm not saying it always works this way, but when we work out hard, that tends to trigger the licensing effect more. And there's something about walking, if you don't push it too much, if you're not trying to go, and do 10,000, 15,000 steps when, usually do 2,000. But if you just start casually walking more, it doesn't seem to trigger that licensing effect as much. So it seems to kind of give you a lot of benefits psychologically. And obviously there's physical benefits as well that lead you to make better food choices. And I think that's why walking is so powerful for weight loss, because it does get you moving more. You might burn a little bit more calories, but most importantly, you start thinking yourself as a healthier person and you still have energy. See, the problem with working out hard is people work out hard and then they deplete themselves so much that now they're sore, they're tired, they're really hungry, and they don't have the energy to stop themselves and make right food choices. With walking, there's way less depletion of energy. So yeah, you're using some to get yourself to do it, but you're not And so you get a lot of the positives out of it. And then you're not super depleted either. So then you're still there to make kind of good food choices. So that's my thoughts on it. But I think walking is a wonderful, I think it's top of the list. Walking, riding bikes, rollerblading, skiing, snowboarding, if you consider those things that are outside active, but they're not just destroying you. Like, and again, hey, work out like a mad person. You do what you want. But working out hard for me has never served me well. Not even one time. I was thinking about Katie today because I said, but maybe it doesn't serve me well because maybe my body's maybe my body's breaking down because I get no protein. Maybe that's the problem. It's possible, but I don't think so because I used to eat a lot of protein back in the day. And my body, I've experimented with this for over 30 years, and when I have like really been intense with like the weights and the real intense workouts, protein or not, my body just it doesn't respond well to it. We all got different bodies, but anyways. Okay, he says, I walk every day, but sometimes it's inside on a walking pad if it's shitty weather. Yeah, that's smart. That's what I'm going to work on that. That's going to be next winter. I'm going to definitely work on some alternatives. I have a treadmill inside. It's just in the wrong spot for me to use it, but I do value it more now. I definitely, that's one of the things I learned. I recommend this all the time. You know, it's like we learn what to do or what not to do. And if we can keep ourselves in that mindset, I think it's very healthy. And so I walked the least I've walked in probably 5 years this winter. But I'm not beating myself up about it. I understand the reasons why it happened. And instead of beating myself up, I do connect to, I don't feel as good. I like moving more. And if I go back in time, I would have given it more focus and I would have focused on walking more because I would have felt a lot better. But notice how I'm framing that, folks, right? Beating yourself up does not help you for a bunch of reasons, but I'm not beating myself up. I'm reinforcing what I like to feel and what I don't like to feel. And I'm working on strategies and solutions to feel more of what I want to feel and less of what I don't want to feel. And that's the alternative to beating yourself up. So, you know, it sounds obvious when I say it, but sometimes we just beat ourselves up. Yeah, Don says, I mean, no snow, but I walk in the rain too. Today is all sun after rain all day yesterday. Yeah, I hate walking in the rain with a passion. And I literally, I got like I'll tell you, finding a rain. I got like 3, I thought they were raincoats, and it's like the water went right through them. I said, what the shit? They said, well, those aren't actually raincoats, Jim. Those are just water resistant. They're not waterproof. I said, all right, where were the waterproof ones? And they're like rubber. I'm not wearing this. I'm 6,000 degrees in here. I finally found a nice one. It's nice. It's light. It's awesome. And so I wear it and it worked perfectly for my upper body, but they funneled all the water down to my pants. So my pants were soaked. I was like, oh, I'm going to walk around with a full Gorton's fisherman costume to walk. So I'll have to deal with that, but I'm not up to walking in the rain yet. I'm working on it though, but good for you, Don. You just get wet and then just change your clothes. Smart move. Yeah, Kate said your dog will love you for walking her more. They desperately needed to, like we do. I know that. I will admit, that has been the biggest source of my guilt. I feel terrible. And what do I do? Just like a human does, what do I do with my guilt? I give my dog more treats. See, that's what I've been doing. I'll admit it. I've been giving her treats. And because I'm trying to make up for not walking her as much as I haven't walked her, period. I'll play with her out in the yard though a little bit, but even that, a bunch of snow. So yes, that's my guilt. My dog needs to get out more. It's not what Cesar Millan always says. Dogs need exercise. It's true. Kamani says, I know you recommend weighing yourself every day. If weight fluctuates because of water and salt and such, how will weighing yourself every day be less stressful to do it more often? Well, because I think that the point of weighing yourself every day, listen, if you're going to weigh yourself every day, and when I recommend weighing yourself every day, you have to understand I'm simultaneously talking about transforming your mindset too. I am not saying keep your same fucking dumb diet mindset and weigh yourself every day. Please understand that. Please. Okay. Please understand. I'm not saying keep thinking like a dieter and weigh yourself every day. That's not what I'm saying. And I need to be very explicit about that. I'm saying weigh yourself every day and use that to change your mindset so that you can start to understand your body and your weight. I find it absolutely, I'm gobsmacked every time. Listen, my whole last 20 years of my life have been spent primarily talking with women between the ages of 45 and 70 about weight. Believe me when I tell you that most women long time and have done lots and lots and lots of diets. And I find it fascinating for people that are very smart and intelligent who've been dieting and focusing on their weight for so long, how little they know about their weight and the fluctuations that happen every day. That is shocking to me. So, the idea of weighing yourself every day, first and foremost, is to start to understand your body. Because if you only weigh yourself once a week, you really have no clue about how much your weight can fluctuate day to day and the potential reasons for it. Which is to say that one of the things that's most important in your life, you really have very little idea of what it's actually doing day to day. And if you start weighing yourself every day, what you'll quickly notice is that your weight fluctuates every single day. Sometimes you might find your weight can fluctuate 2, 3, 4 pounds in one day. Now, once you realize that, and I've never met a person whose weight's not fluctuating a couple pounds regularly. I'm not saying it always, and I'm not saying every person, but the typical thing I see from people is that their weight fluctuates regularly every day. And if you're a woman who's got a menstrual cycle, it's going to fluctuate even more depending on the time of the month. Which, again, fascinating to find that women don't even understand the fluctuation that happens consistently, like clockwork, right around your cycle. So if you don't understand the fluctuations that are always happening in the background, and you just go into your weight, and oh, I want to lose weight, and you step on the scale on Monday, and then the next Monday you step on the scale, and you're up a pound, you're down a pound, you're the same weight. What the fuck does that mean? You don't know. What if you stepped on the scale on Monday and you were 2 pounds plus? You ate a bunch of salt Sunday. You step on the scale, now you're 2 pounds up the next day. Right? Then you eat great all week and you step on the scale the next day. Well, let's do the opposite, right? Let's just say you step on the scale the first day and you ate some bananas the day before and healthy and all the rest of it, and you're just 2 pounds down now. Okay. Then you eat great all week, and then you step on the scale on the next Monday, but that Sunday right before you ate a bunch of salt. Now you're 2 pounds up. And so you step on the, and now your mindset's a mess because you're not taking into account the natural fluctuations, and or you're a woman who has a cycle and your weight reflects that. And so you start your diet and you do well, and you're right at the moment of the cycle when your weight starts to go up a little bit. You're eating well, all the rest of it. And if it was any other time of the month, maybe you would have lost 2 pounds that week. But instead, now it shows, oh, okay, this is the same weight. Oh my God, fuck, this isn't working. So to me, it's like you got to have some sense of what you're working with. And if you weigh yourself once a week, I just feel like you're missing so much information about your body. Weighing myself every day when I was actively losing weight was one of the most helpful things I ever did. Now I know people say, "Oh, I'm going to freak out when I step on the scale. I get absolutely triggered and I lose my mind." Yeah, because you don't even know how to fucking run your mind, and that's the problem. If you don't think you got to transform your mindset in order to lose weight and stay there, I don't know what to tell you. But just because you react to the scale right now in such a triggered way doesn't mean you have to continue to act that way moving forward. You can start to use the scale and think about the scale and feel about the scale the same way you do the speedometer of your car, where you're not scared to look at the speedometer of your car. I mean, you maybe if you see a cop, but other than that, you're not scared to look at the speedometer of your car. You just look at it and then you slow up or speed up or slow down. And again, this is my theory that the scale's really not even the problem anyways. The scale's not what's stressing you out. The scale's just reminding you of what's stressing you out, that you don't know how to change your weight. You don't know how to change your behaviors. And the scale's just reminding you of that. Anyways, but I do think that yes, if you're going to weigh yourself every day, you better do it with a bit of mindset work as well. The scale is, you should be in control of the scale. You're the fucking boss. You're the one in control of your weight, not the scale. The scale's just letting you know where you're at. So if you're so scared of the scale, to me, that just reveals that there's a deep-seated fear and anxiety in you around weight and eating and food. And if you don't get control of that, how are you ever going to master your weight? I'm not saying you have to use the scale, by the way, because I've worked with people that have not used a scale at all. if you're going to use the scale, using it once a week, I find to be just legit cruel and unhelpful. I'd want to know where my weight's at every day in a casual way. I would work to develop indifference and aloofness with what the scale said. I know you don't know how to do that, but that's why people work with me, because I help them do that. That's what I teach in the program. Just because you don't know how to do something doesn't mean it can't be done. Let it be known. So anyways, the scale the scale is your tool. And if you're going to be a master of your body, being a master of the scale, I think is helpful. And I don't know. So that's what I think. But again, if weight fluctuates because of water and salt, and weighing yourself every day would be less stressful, do it more often, because you start to see the fluctuations. And I think you start to gain some peace with the fluctuations of your body. Right now, you all are fucking just trigger happy. You're just triggerable. If the scale moves an ounce, you're fucking good or bad day. It dictates everything. I get it. I understand where that comes from, but I would suggest working on resolving that, or at least improving it. How do you think? I'm gonna let it go, but I hope, again, there is more to it. I will say, like, if you're just someone who's terrified of the scale, I don't feel like going into it anymore right now. But if you are terrified of the scale, you may want to reflect on that. There might be some valuable insights you gain from reflecting on your fear and terror of the scale. It represents something deeper. But I love doing that. I like going towards difficult emotions. So if I have this absolute panic inducing fear of stepping on the scale, I want to explore that. So what's up, Darlene? I made it on time. Yes. Well, I started late too. I started pretty late today, but I'm glad you're here. Charles says, love the content. Thank you, Charles. Appreciate that. He says, huge benefits mentally and physically, especially if you do it early in the day. Walking, yep, lays the foundation for my day ahead, especially if I have to go into my office. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Katie says, I hate strength training, but the benefits are undeniable. Yeah, agreed. I think especially like strength training. Yeah, I think strength training is great. What I realize I've done is I need to start off strength training like a 70-year-old. That's the strategy I'm at now, is start really slow, really, really slow. That's where I'm at. I'll let you know how it goes. But yes, I think there is no doubt that strength training, and especially as you get older, and that's one of the things I noticed, because my shoulder's been bummed up shoulder. It's fixed now, but my shoulder was a mess for probably 3 or 4 years before I got it fixed. And the big issue with that is that it was preventing me from doing any strength work. And I was absolutely starting to notice my strength was going down, and that was scary to me. And that was the first time that I felt that motivation. It had nothing to do with how I looked. It had everything to do with how I felt and how I was going to get older and my quality of life, which is really absolutely core fundamental to me. So there is undeniable strength training is, as you get older, I think should absolutely be part of what you're doing. And it is for me. And I'm excited because it's completely different. And so, I am following exactly what I tell you all in a different context. Because even today I talked about intensity over consistency over intensity. And yeah, of course, what I've been trained and what I initially think about resistance training is intensity. That's what's sold to you, because that's what gets you the fastest results if you could stick with it. But I've messed up enough to realize now that intensity does not work for me. And I am now walking the consistency path. And while maybe the results might be a little slower, I don't give a shit, because for the first time in a long time, I really feel confident that I'm going to get ultimate results, because I'm going to stick with it, because I'm starting in a smarter way. So I am practicing what I preach in that sense this time. Laura says, any opinion on lipidemia, weight gain? I don't really. I will tell you, I've looked into it a little bit, but I don't know enough to really talk about it. I do know that it does seem like a relatively outlier condition. And it is very interesting. I will say that, but I'm going to hold off on talking about that, because I don't really understand it enough to talk about it, and I don't wanna say dumb shit. So sorry. Okay, so I almost said that about you breaking bones and low protein. I know. Done that in the past, even when I was younger too, um, a couple times where I really got into strength training, and every time it was the same thing that my body did not respond well to it. It never has, protein or not. But yeah, you might have a last laugh, Katie. When I turned 70, my eyes might crumble. I'm just joking. I don't know either. By the way, I want you to understand that I don't know what'll happen with it. Um, yeah, Don says I really think there's something about going outside and being in nature. I couldn't agree more. There was a word for it too. It was what was it called? Oh shit. It's a weird word. It's in the ballpark of like I don't want to say I don't know if they'll ban me here, but it's in the ballpark of like pedophile, but it's like for nature, like naturophile or but it's I can't remember what it's called now. But anyways, the point being that it was I think we minimize the effect of the environment and nature on us in a very profound way, and we live very detached lives from nature. So I think anything that gets us outside probably helps us in just ways we could never even imagine, is what I think of it. What's up? XX says, well, I stop losing weight if I eat more veggies and less chicken protein. Recently, I eat 200 grams of cabbage and too full to eat chicken. Will I stop losing weight if I eat more veggies? I mean, your weight loss really comes down to your calorie consumption. So yeah, if you eat 200 grams of cabbage as opposed to 200 grams of chicken, I don't know. That'd be a lot of chicken, right? But yeah, but yeah. So I don't even know what you will I stop losing weight if I eat more veggies and less chicken? No, I don't think so. It just comes down to calories anyways. Don't get tricked on the they're always doing that to us. They're always confusing us on the macronutrients, but ultimately it's really the calories you're consuming on average that are going to dictate your weight. That's simple. And now that being said, most of the time, if you eat a bunch of very low calorie dense, so there's that. So yeah, but chicken too. Chicken is a sneaky. You know, chicken is I gotta look into this. I keep meaning to look into this, but I've read this multiple times that chicken most of the time now is fattier than red meat. And that's a testament to the chicken industry, which, you know, basically fattier meats are more consumed. People like fat. So chickens are bred to be fatter, so they grow bigger quicker. They're genetically selected for the fattiest birds. Um, so, anyways, enough of that though. But yeah, if you eat more, typically, just as a rule of thumb, if you start eating more vegetables and less protein, you're typically going to lose weight because typically vegetables are have less calories in it. They're less calorie dense than protein sources, typically. Okay, he says, you're so right, Don, but I'm a big baby about the frigid cold. Yeah. I kind of am too, which I find interesting because it really just depends on other things too. Like I said, if I'm skiing and snowboarding, I'm more used to the cold and I get out to it and then I call everyone else a baby. And then when I'm not going out in as much, then I'm the baby. And Dawn is calling me the baby. I know she's thinking that. She's, come on, just get out there and do it. And I said, it's too cold. It's too cold. You'd be inside with my heater. But then every time I get outside all the time, then I feel alive and I feel good. You know, to be honest, it's very similar to, in my opinion, to being hungry. I find, and I always say it to my kids until this year, I was like, come on, do some jumping jacks, warm up. You know, why is the house so cold, Dad? Because I don't want to pay for fucking heat, you lazy bastards. Go do some jumping jacks or move your body. You're cold because you just sit there on a screen. So, but then that was me this year. But yeah, when I feel cold and I go out and I warm up in it, it feels good. It feels real. I feel alive. And I feel the same way when I have a slight level of hunger I live with. So yeah, there's a part of me that just wants to eat everything and feel stuffed, fat, and happy. more in the game when I got that slight level of hunger going on. So a bit of it's a mindset, and it's what you get used to as well. Don, you love walking in the rain? I could see that. If my pants didn't get soaked, I love it too. I love snowboarding because of that. I love getting dressed in my snowboard gear because I feel like an astronaut, and I really enjoy that. My next step is to have a full rain gear outfit. I walk around in my snowboard outfit. Don says, did you know you eventually dry? Yeah, but what about the hour when you're just wet and soaked? What about that hour? Cut it out, Don. You don't go for a walk in the rain and then just you change your clothes, right? Or you just sit in. My mom would tell me I'd catch a cold that way. Come on. You just sit there and dry. I feel like I would never dry. I will tell you a funny story. I got a brand new washer and dryer like last year. It's expensive, top of the line shit. And every time I take clothes out of the dryer, they're fucking damp. What's up with that? Anyways, so I don't like damp clothes. Don. And it says, I live in Oregon. Not often is it not raining. Yeah. I used to live up in Burlington, Vermont. And that was as close as I'll probably ever get to living in like Oregon. And it messed with my head. It rained like every day. It felt like it was just rain every day. I didn't love that part of it. And I loved it up there, but that part I didn't love so much. Yeah. Don said, my dog was the real reason they got me walking outside every day. He's a 10 now. Yeah. I'm going to get my dog out there. I'm going to build it back up. I'm going to build the momentum back up. I'm going to be right in the same spot, walking every day, unless there's ice on the ground. Benji doesn't like the rain, but I don't mind it. We both don't like the wind. Well, actually, I got that excuse too. My dog, she can't go out in the rain because she actually has ears that are very susceptible to like getting infections, and her paws are kind of weird. So when she gets damp or wet, it tends to make her not too good. So thankfully, I'll always have that excuse. All right, Deanna's over here, and she says, yeah, I hate it. Damn clothes, yuck. Yeah. Come on, Don. Deanna says, hi, Don. There with my dog before she passed away, motivating. Yeah, it is, right? You get in the habit of it, and it doesn't matter. That's what I'm looking to build back up. It says, I love the solitude of walking alone, which I've done before and after having dogs. Yeah, I love that too. And again, I just got back to it. Yeah, we get that. I love walking my dog, walking alone. Okay, but back to the weighing yourself every day. Don says, I weigh daily when in weight loss mode. It's the best tool for me. I'm in weight loss mode now. Yeah, I do the same thing. As soon as when I'm in weight loss mode, I'll weigh myself pretty much every day, every other day. And then when I'm not in weight loss mode, which is most of the time, I will cut that down. So I'm not weighing myself every single day. I'm the same weight every day, pretty much. The last couple of months have been a little different, but before that, usually I'm just at the same weight. So. Yeah, Don says, I don't think my weight's ever been the same 2 days in a row. What's up, the riddle? Kalispera. Yep. Takanis. Yeah. I don't really speak Greek. I wish I did. Instead of taking the Bible classes, I wish they put me in the Greek classes. But how do you suggest dealing with binge eating? Binge eating. Well, my kind of standard answer is that to deal with binge eating, you want to understand it. And there's usually a couple different triggers for binge eating. So the big three that I find is hunger. Hunger is the big one. Usually people over restrict and then they overeat. Okay. So I guess what I'm saying is next time you binge eat, take a second and reflect on the moment before you took the first bite. How hungry were you? Where were you at emotionally? And is there some habitual pattern to that behavior? And start to analyze it, because what you'll find is there's usually a couple different triggers for binge eating, and the binge eating triggers are the first thing you got to figure out in order to deal with the binge eating, right? Because if your binge eating is caused by over restricting, that's going to require a different solution than if your binge eating is caused by stress, right? They're two different causes. And so the solution is going to be different. So the first step is understand what typically triggers the binge eating. Is it hunger? Is it emotions? Is it a habit? Or some combination of the three or two or one? And then once you understand that, then you can start to work to resolve it. It's emotional, find other ways to deal with that emotion in a genuine way that doesn't involve food. If it's a habit, start to work on developing and installing other habits. So I know that I'm making it sound simple, but most people don't usually approach this. Usually they just try and stop the binge eating. But there's a deeper reason why you're binge eating most likely. And so let's understand what that is and resolve that at the source. All right. Grace Strong says a barrier to weight loss is people feeling like they deserve good things, including health appearance. A barrier to weight loss is people feeling like that they deserve good things. Oh, including health and appearance. Oh, so they don't. You're saying like they don't. They feel like they don't deserve good things. A barrier to weight loss is people feeling like they don't deserve good things. I'm going to assume that's what you mean. My thoughts on that is, yeah, I think that's absolutely true. I think, I mean, there's a million causes of that too. But I mean, if you were raised by people that were always making you feel bad and, making you feel like you don't deserve good things, then yeah, that becomes a core part of your identity. And all of a sudden, when you want good things for yourself, yeah, on a deep level, you don't feel like you deserve them. So absolutely, that's absolutely a real thing, for sure. I mean, listen, again, I work with a subconscious mind, and a lot of it seems stupid and silly to our conscious mind because our subconscious mind's not logical and rational in the way that our conscious mind is. If it was, weight loss would be easy. If it was weight loss, you'd be like a robot and you would just be like, okay, I'm going to eat less today. And then you would just eat less today. But that's not what happens. What happens is you want to eat less and then you still eat more. So something's compelling you to do something illogical and something you don't want to do. Okay. And so, yeah, I think that it's important to get to the core of things. And for a lot of people, you subconsciously, have all this baggage, if you want to call it that. But I just simply put it, the subconscious programming you have is making you overweight. And if you want to change your weight, you've got to change the subconscious programming. Do I deserve good things? No. I feel like, I wonder if if I'm streaming to other places and it's wonky, I feel like it keeps showing it's disconnecting and coming back here. Grace says living in nature is grounding too, as it always changing, novelty without physically moving around. Yeah, I'll go agreed, Grace. I think that's a great point. Biophile, yeah, I think is maybe the word you're thinking of. That is the word, Katie. Thank you. Biophile, yes. Patrick says, thank you for all your help. Down 137 pounds now, and some of those I owe to you. Thank you. All right, Patrick. Nice. Screenshot. You're welcome. 137 pounds. Holy shit. Great job. So make sure that, you're doing the inner work too, because 137 pounds, you're different. You're a completely different version of yourself. So again, in Program Yourself Thin, it's an inside out approach to transformation. And that's really important. Okay. And so make sure that you do that inner work as well. Really important. But great job. I'm glad to help you out. Don says, don't be ridiculous. Of course, I change my clothes when I get home. I don't wear jeans. Get her a little raincoat. Yeah, my dog had a raincoat. Yeah, I should get her a raincoat. That'd be funny. I'd love to see her with a raincoat. No, I don't speak Greek. The riddle. All right, got to get out of here. Yeah. So thanks everyone. I appreciate all your comments and questions. It was really great. I feel a little off today, but hope you'll work with me. And I apologize to all the people on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook if you're getting a crappy feed here and if things aren't coming through. I apologize for that. And yeah, I will hopefully it'll all be working tomorrow. So I am here every day, Monday through Friday, usually around noon Eastern. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I'm here to help you out. This is also a podcast, Program Yourself Thin, and it is on all the major platforms. So go check it out if you want to listen to this. And then if you want a free hypnosis session, go click link in my bio, go get that. It takes 2 seconds. I have a video I made for you. We got a training coming up, how to choose your goal weight. All that's coming as well. So, all right, everyone, have a super duper day and we'll talk soon. Bye.